Greetings and salutations, and welcome to episode 147 of Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner. That's Trev. And we are rocking. We got lots of great things to talk about. Of course, it is the New York Giants coming to town. We're wearing the black jerseys. Can we break the supposed curse? Is there a curse? We'll talk all about that in the game. In the cool down, it's your bold week 11 predictions, to include our game predictions, which I looked it up just before coming on to the channel. If you were to head out to Bet Online, you got +9 points for Washington against the Giants. We are favored by 9 points in a football game in November. Holy smokes. Of course, you can head out to Bet Online and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get yourself a welcome bonus, and then start betting on games in the NFL. You can bet in college football, UFC, hockey. Caps are doing fantastic here in DC. Stoner has been celebrating every night, as pretty much I would say that Ovi was celebrating with the cup, and but we want to keep that on the DL. But yes, head out to Bet Online, use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, get yourself a welcome bonus, and you too can start betting. Bet Online, where the game starts. And we're going to be starting off here with the Don't Sleep warm-up. It's playoffs or tank, and we've got lots of discussion around that. And I tell you two gentlemen, I was a little surprised to see how many people actually wanted to go to the playoffs, because of course here in Ref the District, we don't sleep on our Washington Commanders, and you don't have to sleep either. If you had a Don't Sleep Energy, use code DISTRICT, get yourself 10% off your entire order. Support a DMV company by using that code, not just us, but also Don't Sleep Energy, and then support your team. I don't get it, guys. We're team never tank, and I don't get the idea. And so we asked. We got lots of people already in here who are going with the tank side of the house. But I was very serious. I needed people to explain to us why tank. What is, why should we do it? Why should we go against our nature to want to win a football game? Especially as, and I get this, okay, we're in the hunt, and we're going to use the air quotes on that one. We're in the hunt. Mm-hmm. I mean, what, we 9th right now?
Yeah.
I think in the NFC. It's a weak NFC, maybe 10th.
I think it's 9th. PFT commenter said it best. He said, in the hunt is a hell of a drug, right? To be to be on that in the hunt discussion. That's a drug that you can't quit. I can't quit. As long as I'm in the hunt, I want to be going for wins. So yeah, it's a hell of a drug.
And NFL posted that graphic. Yeah, it's 9th seed right now for the Commanders, but it is through week 10. We got the playoff picture in Washington in November. Don't worry about the record right now. They're in a position where they can sneak into the playoffs. And I just don't, I get why somebody, this is the biggest thing, right? Commandees, why finish mid again? Mm-hmm. What is the problem with winning games? What is the problem? Why are people so afraid to finish in the middle?
Is Trev, are you team tank? Or are you team?
No.
No. Okay. I just couldn't remember if you were
team tank. Sir.
I mean, I've got a whole bunch of reasons not to tank, and why finish mid again. Well, first of all, you don't know for sure that they're going to finish mid again. They are, what's the saying, Nathan? Were they 4-6 right now? They're 11-6 until proven otherwise. So let's just, in 2012, when they were sitting at 3-6, and Shanny was like, let's just start evaluating the players for next year. They went out and won 6 in a row, 7 in a row to finish 10-6 and go to the playoffs. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody sat there and said, let's tank the rest of the season and then see what happens. No, the team went for it. They said, screw it, we're going to go for it. And then they ended up in the playoffs. That's the kind of mentality you want around your organization. I don't like loser talk. I don't like talking about losing and bringing that culture into your organization of wanting to lose. I don't get it. I'll never do it. And if you're mid, if you end up mid, what's the problem if you're trying to win and you end up mid? Obviously, other than ending up mid, would you rather finish 2-15, or what are they right now? 4-6. So 4-13. That's what you'd rather do, and go out every week and stink it up and lose. And no, you do whatever you can, and then you figure it out at the end of the year. They're going to have $100 million in cap space. They're going to have a brand new GM. They're going to have new coaches. They're going to have a mid-round draft pick, 16, 17, 18, or whatever that may be in each round. They've got 5 picks in the top 50, 7 in the top 100, whatever those numbers are specifically. I'm probably botching it. But they've got everything going in their favor. And to just go out and lose on purpose, you think Jonathan Allen wants to do that? Remember how he was after that Giants game and how he's so sick of losing, and now you want to tell him to just go do it on purpose? Can't be me, fellas. And I'll give you a whole bunch of other reasons, but I've been yapping for a while, so
you're good.
All right,
I've got some stuff written down here.
Oh, I've got tabs open because I understand where people are headed with the mid aspect of it. And it sounds like there is an alarm. So Trev is in Lexington, Virginia. They're having some fires in that area, and we just want to extend our thoughts to the people in that area. Stay safe, stay healthy, do what you can. But Trev making it on the show as all that craziness is happening around him here to talk to people about why you play to win the game.
Exactly. Hello, Herm Edwards said it best. You play to win the game. Mm-hmm. We have a essentially rookie quarterback. We've now got some younger players, some first-year, second-year players who are now getting an opportunity to play due to the trade deadline, what we did there. Why do you want to just tank and say, okay, whatever, and then be in a bad mood rest of the NFL season when you're watching the games because you're like, we hope we lose? I've never been a fan of hoping for my team to lose. Like if I'm playing a sport, watching the sport, I've never rooted against my team to lose. I might say we're going to lose. We're going to get the break speed off of us, but I never hope to lose. We still got 11 games left, or 7 games, 8, 9, something like that left. We are in the hunt thanks to the 7th seed, the new playoff format this year. We're right there. Yeah, the season hasn't gone the way we wanted to go or should have gone.
Trev, you had them at 7-3 at this point.
I did, bro. And we could have been 7-3. We just
beat the Giants and beat the Bears. You're 6-4.
Amen. There you go.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Beat the Eagles in overtime or whatever. We're 7-3, right?
You nearly beat the Seahawks in Seattle. Yes. I mean, there's always going to be close games. I think Washington was really only out of it for the Bills and Chicago. Was there another game that you just felt like they were out of it? They felt like these were close games. I don't think we've been beaten. Even the Buffalo game. I brought this up several times. Into the Buffalo game, it was a 16-point game, right? Into the 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I mean,
absolutely,
it's not close. It's not super close, but if you drive, you score, and then at least it's a 1-score game there. But my thing is, I get that Washington isn't a good team. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. They're not a good team.
We're not blind homers.
Yeah. And the defense is bad. And so when I make this next kind of parallel, all right, I want you to understand that I realize this is not anywhere near the same team, but I got to make this parallel because people are talking about how why win, why go into the playoffs just to get embarrassed. You know who thought that they were probably going to get embarrassed? Okay.
Giants last year?
The New York Giants when they got into the playoffs. How about not just last year? How about go further back and Eli Manning's teams were 9-7. They're a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now they were carried by their defense. They had Eli Manning who went on a great tear both times. So yeah, I get we can't rely on our defense right now. It's just not that good to be able to have a New York Giants Eli Manning Super Bowl run. But even last year, they were able to surprise Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Minnesota wasn't a good team last year. We're very paper tigerish, but they still won. Okay. And how about Tampa Bay? The year we played them and everybody was so hyped because Taylor Heineke, only lost by 8 points to the eventual Super Bowl champions. They had Tom Brady, and I get it. That's big, important piece of the puzzle. And of course, they also had a great defense as well, but they were a wild card team that kind of moved into the playoffs. They didn't dominate. They had to play us, for goodness sake. They had to play us at our house.
Yeah.
And they went on a tear. So you don't know, a chip in a chair, right? You don't know what happens. And if you can get hot late in the season, you never know. You never understand. So
sorry, Nathan.
No, it's good because I'll continue on for 20 hours with this topic. So I have one more thing to bring up, but we can bring it up at later.
Looking back at this season so far, in these 10 games that Washington has played, we're not delusional. There is no reason to look at that and say this team can make a run at the playoffs. There is zero reasons. Maybe there's one reason. Sam Howell can carry you past, win 41 to 38 games or something like that. That's really the only reason. But there's no reason to believe that they're good enough to make the playoffs, that they're going to win 5 of their last 8. How many games are left? They played 10.
I know it's week 11.
Games.
But there's like 7 games left.
Right. So there's no reason to believe that they're going to win 5 out of their last 7 and win 9 games on the year. Zero reason to believe that. But that doesn't mean you don't want them to try, that you don't want them to put full effort, that your money that you're spending on, whether it's on gear, all this gear, or just investing by sitting there watching this team or going to the stadium, as a whole bunch of people are going to do this weekend, and paying all that money to just go there and watch them lose. No, you win, you do whatever it takes to win. And then at the end of the year, you take a full accounting of everything and you figure out what you're going to do to get better the next year. And that's how you build an organization. You don't build an organization by bringing a losing mentality into your clubhouse, into your locker room, into your front office. That just is not good for anybody. And again, I go back to that Jonathan Allen rant after they got beat by the Giants, I believe it was. He was so pissed. He's so tired of losing. So you just want to tell him, it's okay. Just go lose some more. You want to go tell that to Terry McLaurin to go lose some games on purpose, or not try, or Terry, go take the week off because we want to play Mitchell Tinsley just so we can see what we got for the future. No, we're paying you $20 million, $25 million a year to go out there and perform. So don't tell everybody to lose.
Yeah.
You can figure it out in the draft. The draft is not the be-all, end-all. To have a top 5 pick does not guarantee you success. Ask Chase Young. Ask the
Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson.
Atlanta Falcons.
Number 8.
And Kyle Pitts. The year before, number 5.
It's great that you picked on the draft, because I was gonna dovetail different ways.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest reasons that people have been talking about as far as why you tank is you want that higher draft pick. But if you go back to the Chase Young draft, if Washington, yes, everyone thinks like, oh, if they just didn't win that, they could have actually gotten Joe Burrow, blah, 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 blah. Okay. In that draft, you have Justin Jefferson being picked at 22, CeeDee Lamb at 17, Jerry Jeudy at 15, Tristan Wirfs at 13. There's good players all the way across the board here. All right. And 2020 and 2021, you have Micah Parsons at 12, Devontae Smith at 10. You don't need to, Garshaw picked up at 23. There's good players all over the board. In 2022, where we had Chris Olave in our lap and we traded back, we get Jahan Dotson. But even after that, there was great players being taken off the board. And same with this year. I mean, we had people wanted Gonzo, right? They want Christian Gonzalez. He was there at 16. All right. You don't don't necessarily need to go. If you wanted a Dalton Kincaid at 26, like, there's good players all over.
Yes.
You need to have the right people in place to be able to pick the right people. And that gives me to my next question for you, Trev, is what's more attractive? A team that might have finished, we'll say 7-9, just barely missed the playoffs, but has a lot of promise, because we know the coaching staff is changing, right? And it's likely the GMs are changing and everything is going to be new here in Washington. What's more attractive, do you think? A 7-9 team that just, fought to the end, maybe even a 9-7 team that snuck into the playoffs, or a team that is 5-12 and looks abysmal, but
Give me
is picking 10th?
Give me 7-9
or 7-10.
Or 7-10.
7-10.
Catch up.
Oh, that's right.
17 games.
Y'all know me. I don't really care about the draft picks.
Yeah, he don't even. Trev don't even like draft picks.
I don't even really, until it's time where it comes, then I'll focus on it. But we don't play. You don't play for draft picks. You play for a Super Bowl. You play for wins. You play for future contracts. You play to feed your family. You don't play for draft picks. If that's the case, retire and play fantasy football. You can get all the drafting you want there, all the excitement you want there. You don't have to go out there and perform if that's what you want to do. But no, you play to win games. We have back to the other point. We have EB in there. You think him coming from Kansas City with Andy Reid and winning Super Bowls wants to be like, you know what? Hey guys, we tried. Let's just throw Jake Fromm out there and put all the fourth stringers out there and just play some football because hey, it's still football, but we're not going to win anyway. No, man, we never tank. Never, ever tank. And
Washington didn't do it last year in the last game of the season. Now they put Sam Howell out there to see what he's got, but Terry McLaurin played, John Allen played, Deron Payne played. Everybody played because that's what you do. You're professionals. You're part of an organization that pays you millions of dollars, and so you go out there and you perform when you're supposed to every week. That's just how it is. And if Nathan went over some of those draft picks. Look at the teams that have won the Super Bowl over the past 5 years, and you'll have to remind me who they are, but I guarantee you my point is going to be proven. The Chiefs won last year. How many top 5 picks are on that team, that Chiefs team? Any? I mean, is Kelsey a top 5 pick? Is Mahomes a top 5 pick? Is the running back a top 5 pick? Any of their offensive linemen top 5 picks? How about their defensive linemen? Chris Jones a top 5 pick? Is any of their linebackers top? Nobody's a top 5 pick on that team, but they figured it out because they knew who to draft. Mahomes was what, 11th, 10th or 11th draft pick, right? So he's there at 11. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, and he was there for 10 other teams, and they all passed, and the Chiefs took him. Second greatest quarterback, Trev, would that be all right? Second or third?
Tom Brady
who was before that? Who won before that? Was that the Eagles year?
Doug Peterson was a while ago. That was the Rams. Yeah, it was
the Rams.
Rams, yes.
Okay, Rams. Stafford was a top pick. He was 1-1, not for the Rams.
Yeah,
right.
He was for the Lions and spent all those years not getting the Lions over the hump. And then he moved on. What about their receivers?
Cooper
Was
Kupp was
Odell
not
Beckham a top 5 pick?
No.
I don't even remember. Who's the
Kupp,
white
Van
guy
Jefferson,
who's so good?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Was he a top 5 pick? I don't even know if he was drafted. What was he?
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald.
He wasn't a top 5 pick. He was a first rounder, I'm pretty sure. None of these guys are. I mean, some of them are, but it doesn't take a top 5 draft pick to win a Super Bowl. The Eagles did it with the Nick Foles. What's the quarterback's name for the Eagles?
Jalen Hurts?
No, the previous one. The one who won the Super Bowl.
Carson Wentz.
No, the guy who played the playoffs.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. Nick Foles was like a 6th rounder. I mean, Carson Wentz led that team. He was 1-1. But, their receivers were not all top 5
Carson Wentz
picks.
was 1-3, I think. Or
1-3, right?
Yeah.
Top 5
still.
1-2.
Yeah, he was a top 5. To your point, he was a top 5.
But he wasn't the guy who took them through the playoffs either.
Right.
He got them to the playoffs pretty much.
Yeah.
But look, you don't need a top 5 draft pick to win a Super Bowl.
No, Aaron Donald 113, by the way. Just
you need, first and foremost, you need a quarterback. And this lucky organization figured out how to pluck one in the 5th round. Another poster boy for not tanking is Sam Howell. a 5th-round pick who's going to be your quarterback in the future. And then also, I lost my train of thought.
You were doting on Sam Howell just now. You're talking about draft picks and how you don't need a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Ringing a bell here.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But
Stoner's
it was
got
really
some fire juice in that cup.
Yeah, it does.
So, yes, speaking of Sam Howell, Joshua upset the media. National media isn't bringing him up. And I've seen this sentiment a couple of times here around national media. I thought has been talking about Sam Howell, and they're starting to kind of get along with and we've seen early on Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky. I saw a video on Dan Orlovsky. I think it was before the Seahawks game, or maybe it was after the Seahawks game.
It was after.
Sam Howell's well liked. Sam Howell's not going to be talked about, however, as much as a CJ Stroud, because he's not winning games the way CJ Stroud is.
That's right.
Games, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
If this team goes on a run, you'll see Sam Howell being talked about quite a bit more. And to Bus's point, if Washington goes on a run, they're playing, they have a murderer's row. And I think the most apt thing that's being said here is from Hibiscus. I've heard this from a couple of people. Hibiscus has commented on it, right? You don't need a tank. This team's just not a good team, and they've got a hard schedule in front of them.
They'll lose no matter what.
So you might as well try to go win some games, because if you can win games against the teams that they're going to be playing, Dallas twice, the 49ers, the Jets defense is the real deal, even if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be coming back. Right? I mean, they're playing some really good teams. If they can win against those good teams, they're going to put up a fight in the playoffs. You can't tell me otherwise.
What if you knock Dallas out of the playoffs by beating them? That's a win. That's like a double win. If you can do that, if you can win the game and knock them out of a playoff spot, how cool would that be? Or out of a division win, where they're going to have a home field game or something like that. If you can do something to hurt their chances to win, that's an even better reason to go out there and play. I remembered my other point. The number one most important thing to have is a quarterback. Number 2 most important thing to have in an entire organization is your talent evaluator / GM. The guy who makes the decision on what you're going to pick. In Washington, for the last 20 plus years, 30 years, we've had Vinny Cerrato, we've had Bruce Allen, and we've had Ron Rivera. That tells you all you need to know about the talent evaluation that's been around here. Get a real talent evaluator in here, and you're going to start changing what happens to the future of this organization. Bring in a guy like the Chiefs have had. Bring in a guy who, like the Eagles have had, like the Rosemans of the world. Somebody like that who can figure it out, who can go out and get a Darius Slay for nothing, who can go out and get a DeAndre Swift for nothing, who can go out and just get guys that are going to help your team. The A.J. Brown for nothing. Now they gave up a little bit for A.J. Brown, but it was worth it. Look at the draft picks they had coming off a Super Bowl year, and they turn around and they have like 3 picks in the top 20. That's what a GM does and helps you build for your team in the future. And all of a sudden, a Super Bowl team is drafting Jalen Carter and all kinds of dudes up front, and Nolan Smith and everything.
Yep.
That's your second most important part of your organization, is a guy who can figure out talent and who can draft a guy at 16, 19, 22, whatever. Jalen Hurts was a 2nd rounder. They know what they're doing in Philadelphia. Get somebody like that.
When they have Carson Wentz on their roster.
And everybody laughed at him. Everybody laughed at him for drafting Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. And all he's done is go on to be a future Hall of Famer if he continues doing what he's doing. If he continues doing what he's doing, he's going to the Hall of Fame.
He is a very, very good QB.
7 QB.
We'll hold off on the Hall of Fame talk until he's able to put several years together.
That's
but I'll tell you who he is better than, and that's DeVito, who Washington's going to be playing. Tommy DeVito, not Danny DeVito, who are going to be playing here this Sunday. Yeah. Washington has an opportunity to get right after a tough loss against the Seattle Seahawks. Will they or will they not win? We've got your answer coming up here in the game as we break down the New York Giants.
The game is brought to you by Pacers Running Stores. Pacers has 5 stores in Northern Virginia and DC. For the best running footwear, apparel, and gear, just stop by or schedule a virtual fitting with the best running experts in the business. Pacers Running exists to help as many people as possible through running. For every run, it's Pacers Running.
That is right. Pacers Running, another local store. Support your local stores here in the DMV. We were talking about playoffs or tanks in the warm-up. Hillbilly giving us this late nugget that I forgot to mention from our community post. But the only reason why you really need to tank is if you're trying to get that top QB, one of those top QBs. If you think Sam's the guy, then we should address offensive line, linebacker, and you won't tank for either one of those. Thanks, Hillbilly, for that comment. And now we transition into the home game against the New York Football Giants. Gentlemen, we are back in black. It's the black jerseys for this home game. People think we are cursed in those jerseys. Can this be a game we break that curse?
One thing real quick, you got to change the warm up to the game.
You're so smart.
Love you guys.
Nailed it.
Smart.
Now, giant opportunity. Can we win this game? Yeah, we can win this game. Are we going to? I don't even know anymore. Because once again, it's another week where we're faced with a team that's, I'm going to go ahead and be honest, that sucks.
They're not good.
Stinks on ice.
They have
And
Dan
they're beat
DeVito's nephew. Yeah, and they're beat up. They got linemen trying to block Saquon Barkley on a running play. You guys see that clip last week against the Cowboys? Yeah. They don't even know what they're doing because they've got everybody on their offensive lines from the streets, literally. This literally should be a get-right game for us. I know we said against the Bears and we got demolished. I know we said against the Patriots. We escaped that one with a win. And I know we said against who else?
The Giants in the first.
The Giants, yeah, 14-7. Exactly. And they
Arizona.
Tyrod Taylor, a backup quarterback. We played Arizona tight, escaped there with the win. We always play to the level of these sucky teams, which means if that's the case for Sunday, this might be a 6-3 game. I mean, the Giants are bad. They're awful. So Saquon doesn't want to be there anymore. Danny Jones is going to be gone after this year because they can't stay healthy, and he's just not that great of a quarterback. They don't have any receivers. Although Jalen Hyatt's pretty nice, but you can't tell because he has 30,000 people throwing the ball every week. This game literally should be get right. We're at home. We're in the black uniforms. Get all the jinx out. Get the Sam throws interceptions at home, which he does. Get that out of the way too. This literally is the get right game for us. If we don't, it's going to be a long rest of this season. And we might start seeing evaluations of players come before sooner than we want.
If we don't, let's say we go out and lose to the Giants. Let's say we go out and lose kind of bad. Let's say we go out and lose 24-10 to the Giants.
JDR is gone.
Sonner, if you lose to the Giants, that's bad enough. You can lose 14-13, and that's still bad. That you
I know, but I'm saying you get beat bad by them.
You're saying
somebody's losing their job.
You're saying somebody's fired at halftime.
Yeah. Somebody is going to be looking for a job right after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought they should have lost a job the first time they lost to the Giants.
We thought they should have lost the job last year when we lost to the Giants.
Yam's been calling for Jack Del Rio's head for 3 years. Yam's joining us after getting out of class.
But like for real, guys,
calling if it's going to be after losing to the or if we lose to the Cowboys. I don't think Ron Rivera's getting fired this season, but you lose to the Giants, and that might change in a heartbeat. Somebody's got to go if you lose to the Giants.
I mean, yes, Tommy DeVito is he's a professional quarterback, but Tommy DeVito played ball at Syracuse, y'all. Okay,
and
Illinois.
Illinois. That's right.
Illinois. Okay. So, I mean, let's just be honest. We should demolish the Giants. We really should, like the Cowboys just did. And when they did the first time, 40-0. If we lose, Jack Del Rio has to go because we know it's going to be on the defensives.
Well, what if you lose? What if you lose 6-3? It's not
Fire
on the
Jack
defense.
Del Rio. We allowed 6. We only scored 3.
Well, that's
Fire
an
Jack
Jack
Del Rio.
problem there.
No, it's true. No, I see what you're saying, because we did just lose 29-26, but we gave up daggone near 500 yards. And I saw a status into the group chat. Seattle has not had a game over 450 total yards in the past 2 years.
So
and it
bad.
happened Sunday. So we could lose 6-3 and still allow 400 yards of
All right.
off,
I'm going to give you a scenario, though, Trev. They lose 13-3. Okay. And the 13 points that the Giants scores are on an interception return and a fumble return down to the 3-yard line. We stop them. They got to kick field goal. And then another interception return. We stop them at the 10. They have to kick field goal. So offensively, you were just terrible. But defensively, you did nothing wrong. The offense gave up all the points. I'm just asking, if that's the case, do you still go after Jack Del Rio just because you lost?
Yes.
There's got to be some context to it.
You do. You have to. It's because it's
just.
I mean, that game is just going to be the icing on the cake. You can't just be like, oh, well, you played good this game, but you're fired. No, it's like, remember the previous 8-9 games we had before this one, where you allowed 500 yards almost in every game? Yeah, we won, but we lost more than we won. It's time for you to go, bro.
But what about this? If you fire a guy on Monday, right? That's when they're going to do it.
You got a game Thursday.
You got a game on Thursday. You can't just start firing guys when you got a game 3 days later.
Bro, it's the NFL.
I don't necessarily buy that, Stoner. I
gotta we'll be fine.
Yes, Buffalo Bills. I know the Buffalo Bills are a different story. They have some time to do it, but I mean, they're firing their coach after 5. The offensive coordinator after 5 and 5. I think anybody is on the market for that.
The same one that Stoner vouched for that wanted to be a head coach for us was Ken Dorsey as a candidate, and he loses his job after losing to the Broncos.
Yeah.
By one.
Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator who got 12 men out on the field for his defense that allowed them to kick another field goal.
Crazy
offensive coordinator.
No, he got fired because they haven't been they've lost
they had some offensive struggles. They've had some largely throwing interceptions and fumblings and all that other stuff.
If they had won that game, he wouldn't have gotten fired.
Winning cures.
And if Powell didn't throw 4 interceptions against Buffalo, we might have won that game.
But I'm saying that part, the reason they lost the game at the end was not on the offensive coordinator.
I think I'm trying to think of the movie. It's a golf movie where the reporter asks him, well, how did you shoot a 69? He was like, well, I missed the putt on the 68th shot. And that's a Stoner right now, where he's just like, well, they didn't lose the game because of all these other things. They lost the game because they put 12 men on the field.
No. See, you're not getting the nuance of it. If they had won the game, if that had not happened at the end of the game, if they had won the game, Ken Dorsey would not have been fired.
Thank you, TJ.
You're right.
It doesn't matter. We're not a Bills podcast. If you like a Bills, we can go to the Bills podcast.
Yes,
we did have some Bills gentlemen on here earlier. 10 Cup. Thanks, Commandalorian. I wanted to say that was the one, but I said
no. We're not talking about 10 Cup. This is not a 10 Cup podcast. We're talking about
the Washington Commanders versus the New York Giants. Okay,
right. We're gonna win,
barring anybody getting fired. All right.
Yeah, okay.
The Giants team, not very good, but they weren't very good a few weeks ago, and Washington lost 14-7. A lot of offensive struggles for the Commanders in that game. Have we seen enough improvements from this team to warrant feeling more comfortable here in the rematch?
I do. I feel more comfortable. For one, we scored over 20 points or more these past 2 games after the Giants lost. Sam looks a lot more comfortable than he did against the Giants. The Giants lost one of their greatest pass rushers in Leonard Williams, who we just saw on Sunday, who just got a sack on us because he loves us no matter where he plays. So that should be better for us. The offensive line has been better the last 2 games without allowing as many quarterback hits or sacks. So yeah, the play from the offense for the past 2 games since that Giant loss gives me hope that we should go in there and do what we're supposed to do and put some points on the board and walk out with a W.
Why did Washington lose that game to the Giants? What was the biggest factor in that game?
Probably Sam Howell being put on his back.
Yeah, and holding the ball too long, and maybe some play calling too a little bit, because I mean, it is what it is.
And since then, they figured it out. At least that's what they've shown us. They figured it out that they cannot sit there and drop back time after time after time, 5 and 7 step drops, and wait for these long routes, especially when you got old Wink Martindale over on the other side, who's didn't all of a sudden come out of the woodwork and decide to start blitzing against him. He's been doing this for 25 years in the NFL. So hopefully they've looked at that and they've learned that we know he's going to blitz over and over and over again. So you got to have a game plan for it. And if they come out in that game and they start doing 5 and 7 step drops over and over, I'm firing Eric Bieniemy after the game. That's what I'm doing. Because they got to learn from that.
We're just firing it. Pink slips for everybody here.
It's a pink slip game for sure.
TJ mentioning that Washington's defense has gotten worse since that last Giants game. I agree, TJ. They have not been good at all this season, and they've definitely looked really bad these last few games. Yeah. But to that point, they're playing against Tommy DeVito. Yeah. They're playing against, and that was a game that famously, like, they're coming in there. Jordan Pugh was playing his second game after getting off the couch. Mm-hmm. The offensive line played very well against our vaunted 4 first-rounders that we still had in that game. So even though I think our defense has gotten worse since there, I don't know that the Giants' offense has really gotten better. You have Saquon, and that is the end of that list.
That's it.
Yeah. You don't even go to Jalen Hyatt. You don't even go to anybody on that line. Sterling Shepard, as much as I love my OU family. Yeah. He is a wide receiver 3. He is Jamison Crowder, actually. Sure. That's a good comp. Yeah. Good comp for him. I think Sterling Shepard's had a better career overall, but they're the same. They're the same player. They're close because of injuries for sure. But
for sure.
I don't think it's really. You know how we always yell at Eric Bieniemy in this offense and say it's not rocket science. Just quick passes and screens and all this other stuff. Run the ball. It's not rocket science. That's how you beat a blitzing team. On the other side, it's not rocket science. Tommy DeVito cannot beat you over the course of a full game. So you have to stack the box. You got to go with your, what do they call that? Your Cinco package with 5 defensive linemen. You should probably have 3 linebackers in there and do whatever it takes to stop Saquon Barkley and say, Tommy DeVito, you're going to have to beat us, but we're going to come at you with 5, 6, 7 guys every single play. And we're going to go after Saquon Barkley if he gets it. And if not, we're coming straight at you, Tommy DeVito. Go beat us. And we're going to have to count on our corners, the Fullers and St. Juste and Forbes of the world, that are going to have to lock these guys down one-on-one. You're just going to have to take that chance because Saquon Barkley is the only worry that this defense should have. And before you forced Tyrod Taylor to beat you, he was fine. He didn't beat you. They scored 14 points. He wasn't the one that beat you. Your offense couldn't score in that particular game. So that's all you got to do. It's not rocket science. Stop Saquon Barkley, put 8 guys in the box every single play, and say, Tommy DeVito, you got to beat us.
Yeah,
and
Tyrod Taylor
then
last
Jack
time.
Del Rio should be fired.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor last time, 18 for 29, 279 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. Tyrod Taylor greater than sign Tommy DeVito.
Oh, for sure.
Tyrod Taylor greater than sign Daniel Jones. So yeah,
true.
Not even
I'll take that.
There's an argument.
And when we were talking about draft picks and everything, if you look at the NFC East and you look at the 4 quarterbacks, you got a 5th rounder, a 4th rounder, and a 2nd rounder who are all better than a top 10 pick in Danny Jones. Dak, Sam, and Jalen all better than Daniel Jones, who was picked like 7th overall.
Yeah, you're right.
You
I
don't
like that,
need
Stoner.
a top 10 pick. You
And
need
paid $45 million
Yeah.
a year.
you need to
Yeah.
figure out who it is that is the right guy and draft him. So yeah, Daniel Jones, we've all known it. He's terrible. And he owes the Washington organization a lot of money because we got him paid. Because that's the
Can I
only
get
team that he
$5?
plays
True.
Yeah.
True.
on. Yeah.
All right, back into the game here. So
Yep.
we've talked about how the Washington offense has improved. Sam Howell was sacked 6 times last game. The last time these two teams made. Yep. A lot of that came off the blitz. Some of that came off of Lawrence, who has now been traded away.
Yeah.
Just beating up Nick Gates in the center. Sadiq Charles struggling. Are Chris Paul and Tyler Larson going to help build that center? Is that going to help against this? Thibodeau might miss this game.
That's
He's
huge.
on the injury list.
Banged up.
He's banged up. Someone had mentioned it earlier. I shared it on the screen, but I'll mention it here now for our audio listeners. The Giants look like they might be actively tanking, right? They've got a lot of injuries, and they're more likely to sit players with injuries than they are to be, letting them play through injuries. Partially because the thing you mentioned earlier, Stoner, the thing that we got from Hillbilly, right? If you're tanking for a QB. They know Daniel Jones isn't the guy. So now they need to get back up to the top and select their guy. Danny Jones can hold the clipboard. Be what's the kid out of New Orleans? The do-it-all player down there.
Taysom
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, just have Danny Dimes back there as a upright back. A tight end. Everybody loves pushing everybody to the tight end position.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, tight end position is very difficult. Speaking of those tight ends, Cole Turner been inactive like the last 3 weeks running. He's been reasonably inactive even when he's seen the field. Eric Bieniemy doesn't like the 5th round pick from last year, the other 5th round pick. Why is that? Why are we not seeing more of Cole Turner, Trev?
He doesn't fit the tight end prototype that EB looks for in this offense, I guess. I mean, you put on the college tape, it's like, yo, this dude can ball. I mean,
John Bates fits it. John Bates was getting some love from EB.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Cole Turner's hands aren't as good as we thought, or if he just doesn't understand the concept of the scheme that we're trying to run. I don't know what's going on, because he's shown for us and in college he has the athletic ability to do that, but it just seems like it ain't working out for him here.
Yeah,
so
I don't get it either. I mean, his weakness is he can't block.
That's it, by the way. That's the thing.
But they don't ask their tight ends to block in this offense very much. Every once in a while they do, but this is an offense that throws the ball. And this is not an offense that Max protects. This is an offense that's downfield, throwing the ball to tight ends, throwing it short, throwing it long, whatever. Very seldom do you see tight ends back there blocking, unless it's the tight end who's disguised as, or the offensive tackle who's disguised as a tight end, John Bates.
Yeah.
He can't block.
PCC hits it here. So Cole Turner can't block. PCC saying the route running is subpar and the hands are shaky. I
haven't seen those two.
I haven't necessarily. That's why I wanted to stress those PCC. I don't know what he's talking about. PCC. The tight ends definitely blocking this offense.
No. See, again, you all aren't listening.
Is that not what he said? Is that not what he said?
He did say that.
I said
that.
Oh my God. You all see what you all are just looking for something to jump on me about.
No, not me. I'm listening, Stoner. Go ahead.
They run the ball like 6 times a game. So you don't need a tight end to block in the running game. And the tight ends do not block very often in the pass game.
That's where you're wrong. You need to look. You need to look at it. And they run max protect. They've been running max protect more often, partially because they realize this offensive line needs that help. And this is one of the reasons. This is the same reason why we see Antonio Gibson often out snap Brian Robinson as the pass blocking.
Is he a tight end? No,
is
he's a
the pass
blocking
stoner.
Ooh, I forgot popcorn. I forgot my popcorn.
They need the tight end to be able to properly chip. You see Logan Thomas do it. You see John Bates. John Bates is not special as a receiver, but he's a good blocker. That's why he's out there. Mm-hmm. Logan Thomas can hold his own. Maybe don't put him one-on-one on a Micah Parsons, but that's a Thursday night.
Thibodeau,
or Kayvon Thibodeau. Right. Yeah. So, but he can hold his own. He can chip and then get out there. We've seen a lot more of that where the running back or both tight ends, because they've run a lot of 12 personnel, where you're going to see, if I think I got that, might have gotten that backwards. Anyways, you'll see two tight end sets where they'll be out there, they'll chip, and then they go out 5 yards to catch it. And
is that blocking?
They do. They chip, they block. What do you want them to do? One of the best plays came from a John Bates blocked a little bit, and then he squeezes out and he catches like a 9-yard pass.
That ain't blocking, my friend. That ain't blocking. That's disguising a block and then going out for a pass. Blocking is staying back and blocking for your quarterback. They don't do it that often. They don't max protect very often. Do they max protect? Yes, they do. But if you want to go and break down the number of times that these tight ends max protect block versus the number of times they go out on a route, you're going to see that they go out on a route more often than they stay back and block.
So the answer to the question again is Cole Turner isn't getting time because he's not able to do this, right? He's not able to block, then release. He's not able to, what did Stoner call it? He's not able to ole, chip. He's not able to do whatever song and dance Stoner wants him to do. That's why we're not seeing Cole Turner. Last game, we saw Chris Rodriguez get 7 carries. Chris Rodriguez, though, has been put on the back the last time against the Giants. This time out, we haven't seen a lot of Chris Rodriguez over the last few years. In fact, they've brought on Alex Armah, who is banged up for Washington. And we've been seeing more Brian Robinson toting it. Chris Rodriguez, even I fell for it. I said Chris Rodriguez might be taking Brian Robinson's job. Has not been the case. How much power running do you expect this time against the Giants?
None.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting it.
It's just a pleasant surprise when it happens.
Yeah,
we're definitely not now since Alex Armah is on the injury list. I mean, that's what happens when you have guys sit in the bench all year. You bring them up for one game, then they get hurt. Like, of course they're going to get hurt. They haven't played all year. So, like, they don't know game speed. But anyways, yeah, it might be more B-Rob, but I don't see more power runs, but might be more B-Rob runs.
They ran 17 times last time the Giants were facing off against the Giants. 2 extra Sam Howell runs in there, but so 17 times by the running backs. Chris Rodriguez,
for how many yards?
Not including Sam Howell's 15 would be 61 yards.
Oh
so
gosh.
Basically, so that's 3 yards a carry, just over 3 yards a carry. Yeah, that's not great.
Not good.
I don't know, because according to Ron Rivera's comments on the last game, we ran the ball when we thought we going to be able to be successful at it, and we were successful. So it's like whenever they feel like the run game's going to be effective, they're going to run the ball. So that could be 2 times, it could be 22 times. It's so hard to tell with this offense because
Ron Rivera also said that Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen have been good this season.
We're going to get to them in a minute too, right?
And they have had a drop off. Jonathan Allen might get a pass, one because I have a signed jersey of his, but also because he has been dealing with toe, I believe, injuries since the beginning. He was in the beginning of the year. He was dealing with
2.5 months ago.
Sweet.
Yeah. So nope, maybe no pass.
No
but
excuses, no pass for that.
I'm with
for
you.
that.
I'm with you on that one.
He's never been on an injury report since week 1, or maybe it was only the preseason. So that excuse don't cut it for me. I'm not against Jonathan Allen. I think he shows up otherwise. But yeah, that ain't the reason why. People are just looking for an excuse for that.
Yeah.
Like, so why is Terry not getting as many targets as he normally does? Because he's hurt? No, he's never missed a practice. He's never been on an injury report since preseason. So no, John Allen does not get that excuse.
John Allen on a vet day today, by the way. Seth Walder from ESPN tweeted out last year, Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne ranked 9th and 12th in pass rush win rate at defensive tackle, respectively. It's the reason why they were in that NFL top 100. This year, they rank 26th and 42nd out of a total 52 defensive tackles.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not good, guys. That's not great. And it's only going to get worse, I think, with the fact that they've lost premier pass rushers. Say whatever you want to say about Chase Young and Montez Sweat. They were good at their job. Okay. They were good at pressuring the QB and needing to have some attention over there.
That's correct.
James Smith-Williams, who did not practice today with that hamstring injury, Casey Tuhill, Andre Jones, KJ Henry, these guys don't need to get that extra blocker heading out their way. So everybody gets to focus in the middle, making it that much harder for Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne to do their job. Daron Payne had some flashes. We've had high praise when he had his personal 3-and-out. But those plays come too far and not enough. There's a phrase that I was trying to say that I just missed out on. But you guys, far in between, it doesn't matter.
Too far and in between. Yeah. What is it?
Too far in between. Yeah. Well,
yeah. We're all messing it up, but it's okay. Maybe some of the chat can get there. Ray mentioning a little bit like
few and far between.
Few and far between. There we go. Yeah.
There it is.
We got there, guys. We got there. Ray, it's funny how money is a motivator when you don't have it. A lot of people blaming Daron Payne's letdown season to being paid. And I don't think that's it. I mean, money is absolutely a motivator. Don't get me wrong there. But I don't think it's a disappointing season because he was paid.
Is the 52, he was ranked 42 out of 52 or whatever. I'd like to know where that 52 came from. If every team has 2 defensive tackles, that's 64 right there. And most teams have 4 defensive tackles at least that play. So we're talking 120s. Why did he cut it off at 52? Yeah. Just asking. Even if it's only starters, you're talking at least 64. Unless you run a 3-4, I guess. You run a 3-4 defense. Maybe that's it. But that's a little bit disingenuous about the 52.
Fair.
I'm saying
there's definitely some kind of cutoff for there, and ESPN is keen on doing these random things, much like the Washington Commanders PR team earlier today posted that Sam Howell is the only quarterback in NFL history to have thrown for over 2,900 passing yards, rushed for over 200 yards, and have a 65% completion percentage within their first 11 career games. Not that that's
significant, though.
Not that that's not impressive. Okay. Yeah. Not that that's not impressive, but mainly just
kind of random.
It is. Random it's just like you're going to, when you start adding in all these extra things, you really start cherry picking, right? And likely the 52 comes from some sort of snap count that we're not seeing. Right. Okay. And so that's that they cut it off at some point to justify. Stoner, you do this all the time with PFF numbers, right? You only 100%. Bring them up when they are, you know, 100%. Solidify your point. Statistics can be modified in a way that make it look better or worse, depending on what your, you know, concept is.
And I'm going to call them out when I see a issue with their stats, just as people will call us out when we post our stats that are in our favor. But the significant part is, you're right, compared to last year when they were, what are the numbers? They were like 6th and 8th or whatever in those stats. And now they're 24th and 42nd or whatever. That's the significant part of that stat. I don't dispute that at all. I
Mhm.
just didn't like the way they couched it with the 52 or whatever. But that's not good.
And
They're not doing something. And that's through the course of the year when Chase and Montez were here.
I was going to say this stat I'm about to read that Nikki, I can never say her last name.
Javala.
Javala
There you go.
Nikki
posted.
J.
Or Nikki J.
Yes, we traded away Chase and Montez Sweat, but Deron Payne hasn't laid a hit on an opposing quarterback since week 5. This is week 11.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't recorded a sack since week 2.
Yeah.
That was the Denver game, wasn't it?
Week
Yes.
2 was Denver.
He was
That
robbed
was
Jonathan-
the personal 3. The
that was
3 and out.
the 3 and out.
Personal 3 and out.
So
He was robbed of one this last week. Jonathan Allen was holding,
yeah.
and that took
But-
away a Deron Payne sack.
I mean, he was bear hugging the guy. That was a blatant hold, but
Well, I thought the guy was
he
bear
was.
hugging him too.
yeah, they were hugging each other, so it should
Right.
have offset and replayed it
Yes.
down. But anyways,
It's like long lost friends over here.
and then Jonathan Allen has had a quarterback pressure rate of 11.9% in the first 5 games. Over the past 5 games, it's fell to 7.6.
Yeah.
So, hindsight, the Chase Young and Montez Sweat trade really did not affect this defense at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
It did maybe for the locker room, for personal relationships with the guys. And yes, Nathan, like you said, they did do some good things. They did. Montez Sweat had a lot of quarterback pressures. Chase Young was getting back to where he was when we got him. But we were still allowing the same amount of yards we had when we had them. We were still not sacking the quarterback when we had them.
Mhm.
So
And you look at the pressure rate between Chase Young and Montez Sweat in this defense when we had both of them, the pressure rate up to that point and the pressure rate afterwards, it's significantly lower. They didn't sniff Mac Jones 2 weeks ago against the
Mhm.
Patriots.
No.
They I don't think that guy's jersey was dirty
Mhm.
being
No.
there.
Except for when
They-
he was rolling around crying after his interception.
Yeah, he did a lot of pouting. Yeah, he definitely did a lot of pouting.
leave that boy alone.
No,
They really didn't do anything against Geno Smith either.
Right.
Significant. They did have 1 sack for 0 yards. I think that was him running out of bounds or sliding right at the line of scrimmage. And so it's just like they are not getting after the quarterback with the lesser talent. And so to me, you can't there's no excuse for Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Okay. I'm not trying
That's
to say
right.
that there is an excuse there. What I'm trying to say is this defense is absolutely abysmal right now trying to get after the quarterback, because guess
Mhm.
what? When you're giving Casey Toohill him of 2 sacks and 10 snaps, all of a sudden you're giving him 35, 40 snaps. He still doesn't, he doesn't produce at that rate. Okay. He produced 2 sacks and 10 snaps because he had 10 snaps.
Yeah, he was fresh.
Okay. And now that he's being blocked every single time, he's just not going to be as effective. And so
He's not.
Jack Del Rio, who we all don't like right now, needs to call up a defense that can free up some. And we've seen some of it here in the last 2 weeks. They just haven't been able to come home. Quan Martin has been coming off. I think we saw Danny Johnson coming off the edge as well. Quan Martin is pretty special when he's coming off the blitz. I think he's timing that much better than anybody else. You've seen Jamin Davis blitz up through the center. I think he and David Mayo attacked the same hole, which allowed for the 54-yard run by Stevenson up against the Patriots. So they need to do something because they don't have premier talent on the edge. Thankfully, they're not playing against premier talent here against the Giants. So how is that matchup going to look for Washington? Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen in the center, and whoever you want to put out of the edge. How are they going to be able to handle the ragtag line from the New York Giants, who, by the way, kept Tyrod Taylor upright for most of the game, sacked 4 times last go, but really should have been a heck of a lot more.
Well, 4 times is probably a season high for Washington's defense, sacking a guy. So that's actually pretty decent. But you're right, that line was such a ragtag bunch of guys. I don't know, is Evan Neal back? I can't even
I don't think
remember.
so.
I don't know if he's been
Andrew
playing.
Thomas is gone.
He's gone, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think so.
I mean, it should be a feast. It should be a feast defensively. And like I said, they should have 5 guys. They should run a lot of that Cinco package and run at least 2 linebackers, maybe 3, have 8 guys in the box. You want to bring Cam Curl down, that'd be great. Make sure Saquon Barkley doesn't go off. And if Danny DeVito, what's his name? Tommy DeVito wants to drop back, you got to get after him. You got to get after him. You got to make him beat you. I don't care. Run a bunch of cover zeros against them. Have your guys going one-on-one. Do you think that Emmanuel Forbes can't stay with Sterling Shepard?
Right.
I mean, he can if the quarterback's getting pressured. If your quarterback is going back there and he has all day to stand there and look, then of course Sterling Shepard's going to burn. Emmanuel Forbes is going to burn anybody. He's going to burn the best corners in the world if the quarterback can just stand there and look around. So that's all they really need to do. Oh, and you know what? Maybe Fedarian Mathis will come in and save the day with his 18 snaps that he had last week for your 2nd round pick.
He's coming off of an injury, Stoner.
He's been playing for a month. How long does it take these guys to get ready to play NFL football?
Bro, he's like 300-some pounds with a bad knee. It's a lot of weight on the knee.
We need a new health team. I mean, it's taken, like, what do we say earlier? Everyone's got calf injuries. DE Ryan, yeah, that'd be great. But Waller isn't playing for the Giants, which should bode well for Washington, as I've seen far too much of Miracle Whip trying to cover talented receivers in the middle. How can we fix that? Because that is a big defensive woe for the Washington Commanders. We've talked about the struggles they're going to have on the line. They struggle. I think that the cornerbacks is probably the best group right now. The back 4
and they're bad.
5 most of the time. They're not great, but they're probably the best part of this defense right now. The linebackers certainly ain't it. Cody Barton wasn't exactly a revelation when he was healthy in here. And now we're seeing a lot of David
Barton. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised because I've been wanting him back a whole heck of a lot when I see David Mayo running 10 yards behind a crossing wide receiver. How can we fix that? How can Jack Del Rio fix that?
Elevate some other guys. Give Jabril Cox a chance outside of special teams. Scooter Harris. I mean, I don't know. Everything. I mean, after Jamin Davis, the linebacking group is meh. So it really doesn't matter. Just keep David in there for run stop because he's good at run stop. He really is, but he can't cover.
Right. He can tackle.
A slice of bread.
He's a very good tackler. He's very smart, very savvy. But yeah, he can't do all that. Offensively, your weak spot is your offensive line, right? So what do? You scheme around it. You decide, okay, we're going to have to do quick passes, bubble screens, run the ball more, all that good stuff so that our quarterback doesn't get killed. We don't expose our quarterback. Defensively, what is your weakness? Your biggest weakness is your linebackers. Scheme around it. Blitz the F out of that quarterback and not have your linebackers standing back there in a zone waiting for a receiver to come across that takes 3 or 4 seconds for them to get open. Mm-hmm. He can't get open, and David Mayo doesn't have to worry about covering him if Tommy DeVito's laying on his ass in the backfield. That's what they need to do. They need to scheme it better and go after the quarterback and not expose David Mayo to these zones and these crossing receivers. That's how you get past your biggest weaknesses.
Yeah. So Tim
Duncan's not walking through that door. I know you guys don't know that reference. He's not walking through that door. Nobody's coming in to save the day. Jabril Cox is not. Scooter Harris is not. Khalil Hudson's not. None of these guys.
Khalil Hudson, I forgot about him too.
None of these guys are coming in to save the day. They're not. The talent is not there. So if you don't have the talent, you got to scheme around it.
So JG, Miracle Whip is Mayo. That's our special name here. We have a couple, just like when we don't like Eric Bieniemy's calling, it's Eric Milhouse Bieniemy Jr. So you got to watch us on game days as we provide play-by-play and commentary, and that's where you get all the fun happening there. Ray asking where is Jabril Cox? Simple answer: he's just not good enough.
He's
If
not
you
good
think
enough.
if you think David Mayo is bad, if you think Khalil Hudson isn't cutting it out as a linebacker because he's like
not.
100 pounds less than
Yeah.
Jamin Davis,
Yes.
Jabril Cox ain't it. He ain't it. You're gonna see a lot more trouble there. The thing I will say about David Mayo is I've long given that same excuse you did, Stoner, where he's a smart football player, he knows where to be and everything like that. I have to say I stopped believing that a little bit. Okay. I think his recognition is far too slow, because if he were the smart football player we were talking about, he wouldn't be slow to recognize that crossing route.
You're right. I
And
agree.
that is because that's a problem. And it's consistently a problem for him. It's not like it's a new thing. We saw it last year. We saw it when we were trotting out who's the
John
old guy?
Bostic.
John Bostic. Oh God.
He's John Bostic 2.0.
He really is. He's a step slow. And
Yes.
you can't afford that. Thankfully,
you're
you
right.
don't have to cover Waller.
If you recognize that crosser, you get out in front of him and you're already basically ahead of him running that route for him. So yeah, absolutely. He hasn't been good at least recognizing those routes.
No. He gets burned every time. And we don't have anybody that can do it because Jamin Davis has to worry about Saquon coming out of the backfield. So
Roger asking how do we know that? You're right, Roger. Actually, I don't necessarily know that Jabril Cox is better. This coaching staff certainly thinks that he's not good enough to make the playing field with everything they have in front of them. And I will say this in his defense, in Jabril Cox's defense, this coaching staff hasn't exactly been good about putting the right talent out on the field.
Amen.
Ron Rivera himself talked about how he didn't realize Sam Howell was that good. Otherwise, he might have started him sooner.
Oh my God, bro.
So maybe Jabril Cox is the Sam Howell of the defense, and we just don't know it because the two people who are in charge of putting them.
You just do the math, right?
Yeah.
You do the math and you say, okay, Jabril Cox was out on the street when you signed him. He's been there for 2 months and he can't get past David Mayo and Khalil Hudson. He can't get past them on the depth chart. And
he's just
what's his name? Cody Barton before that. If he can't beat them out in practice every single day, then you just have to assume he's not good enough. That's just the math we're using there.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, again, in Rodgers' defense, Chris Paul wasn't exactly starting over Sadiq Charles until the injury. And all of a sudden it was just like, oh, wait, Chris Paul has something Sadiq Charles doesn't have. And that's working calf muscles most of the time.
Damn, that was brutal.
It's true.
But also, you didn't hear this from me, but I might be the bloom. Wait. Is it the bloom may be falling off the rose of the Chris Paul rose? Right.
Yeah,
he has not been good the last couple of weeks when I've been.
I was letting you ride that high for a minute by yourself.
He has not been that great the last 2 weeks.
As the kids say, he was absolutely riding. You can fill in the blank as you see fit. Family friendly show here for Ref the District. Yeah, Jason Peters on the street last year. Now he's starting right tackle. Jason Peters is also
Hall of Fame.
He's like Hall of Fame player. Like, he might be like 40 years old, but I mean, he's a he's a good player. Like more Jordan Pugh is probably a more accurate representation for Jabril Cox than Jason Peters. Just gonna throw that out there.
But he's starting. They recognize that he's better than the guys in front of him, and he's been starting.
Yeah.
So if they recognize that Jabril Cox is better, he'd be starting, but they don't see that. And you're right, Nathan. It could be that the coaches just don't know any better. They don't know what they have.
Exactly.
But I mean, they see him in practice every single day, and they're not like, whoa, this guy's a badass. He needs to be in the starting lineup. Well, we don't know. We're not sitting there watching practice every day.
I love the dynamics here. I got me bleeping out the word dick, and he's just dropping the A word all over here. Well, I need people to start dropping in their game predictions because that's coming up here in the cool down.
The cool down is brought to you by Manscaped.
Ever since my Nathan started using their products, I can't cool down. Fellas, trust me. Go to Manscaped right now and get 20% off and free shipping by using the code REF. Your ladies will appreciate you. Now back to Trev, Stoner, and my Manscaped man, Nathan.
That is absolutely right. I did a little cleaning up with the beard trimmer today,
Very nice.
and EP's been very happy with how soft the beard is, and you can get all that from Manscaped using our code. Well, maybe not the beard, but you can get the beard products from Manscaped and try to grow out a beard like mine here, where a lot of people seem to appreciate it. I know I do. Not many people appreciate this one, Polo. Drafting a defensive end out of Alabama, second round. Yeah, it's a little stupid when you already have Allen and Payne, especially if you pay when you pay Payne. But Polo, Stoner's, this might be Stoner's burner account, so I can ask both Polo and Stoner here. When we get to dollar, remind me snap counts for Darian Mathis.
Okay, that'll be a good one.
But we got ourselves some game predictions. First off, Rockman 17-10. Rockman, you're normally more positive than this, my man.
Come on, Rockman. What are you doing?
17-10 Giants. Gregory with the howling.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Not even like there was a little something at the end, like a beep, and then that was
23-16 Washington. Gregory normally pretty down on Washington, so we got a little flip flop there. Okay. Ray, Danny DeVito is going to pass for 300 yards, but Commanders win this one 24-21. Too lit 26-21 Commies.
All right.
And I was trying to see if TJ, I knew we had a couple more. 23-21 Giants. So all those are in there. Let's get ours in. Trev, what do you got?
Oh man. You know how I'm an optimistic, right? I'm a huge optimistic. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I said at the beginning of the show tonight, we're facing a team like we did against the Bears, against the Patriots, the Cardinals, and the Giants 3 weeks ago. Now we're facing an even worse Giants team than we did when we lost 14-7. We have to dominate. Since that game, we put up 20-plus points. Sam Howell looks comfortable. Our offense looks like we're actually an offense now in the NFL. We've got to destroy them. Yes, our defense is allowing a lot of yards, but I think our defense is good enough to beat this depleted New York Giants team. Washington 34, New York Giants 16.
All right. That's a pretty good butt whooping.
I mean, we got to.
All right. My next?
Yes, you are, Stoner.
All right. I'll go next. Listen, in the entire history of Ron Rivera coaching for the Washington Commanders, Washington football team, were they the Redskins in 2020? Or
they were the Redskins in 2020.
Okay. So he's coached for all three teams. He's 60 games he has coached. Washington has led from start to finish in 5 games out of 60. So it's not likely to happen in this game. 2 of those 5 games were end of the year games, were the last game of the season, where the other team was probably not putting their best effort. Cowboys last year, whole debate whether or not that they put their best effort in. Washington won beginning to end. The year before was against the Giants, the last game of the year. Anyways, it's happened 5 times. So it's not going to happen this game. Washington's not going to lead from start to finish. However, and since Nathan didn't like me dropping the A word, I'm going to do it anyway. They're going to kick the Giants' ass, and it's going to be 31-6. I understand I was wrong that they didn't blow out the Cardinals, the worst team in the NFL at the time. I was wrong they didn't blow out the Bears, the worst team at the time. I was wrong they didn't blow out the Patriots, the worst team at the time. I'm not going to be wrong this week. They're going to blow out the absolute worst team in the NFL, the New York Giants, 31-6.
God, I hope this is a streak buster for us there, because that is an awful set as there. And Hey, Too Lit, thanks for joining us. First time able to catch us here live. We do stream live every Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern. We appreciate everybody in the chat. It makes it for a lot of fun. And we always
Come
take
out Sunday.
questions as well. We are going to be live Sunday for this game, giving you play-by-play, your commentary, coming up with new names for Eric, Bean, and me, and the rest of the team. Because whenever you do something we don't like, you're going to get a funny name there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it. We lost it. Thanks, Stoner. You jinxed us. Trev jinxed us. Is it up to me?
Come on, Nathan.
If the panel all picks Washington, does that mean they're guaranteed to lose?
No.
I didn't think so, because I really don't believe in jinxes. And I normally do the whole string of reasons why Washington should probably lose. And one of them is one of the things I think Rockman had posted earlier, which is the Giants have our number. The Giants have not been a good team. I got in trouble last time we played the Giants. I'm sure there's going to be a couple Giants fans here who are going to tell me otherwise. The Giants were not a good team last year when we lost to them. They're not a good team this year, and we lost to them. And there's just something about the Giants that just happen to beat our Washington Commanders. They have not been able to get by them. And it's frustrating because you do see across the way a very bad team, a team that is now on their third QB, a team that has an injured Saquon as their only offensive threat. Waller was a bust even before he was injured. Of course, he had Tyrod Taylor and Dan Jones thrown to him, so it's not exactly like he was going to be lighting up in the first place. But there's a lot of hope there. Jalen Wyatt in the second round, not really healthy, not really having anybody throw him what his specialty is, which is getting behind defensive backs. And so there's nothing scary about this team. Even Saquon, he's been very well contained because, again, he's the only option. The defense, their defensive line was their strength. Thibodeau's injured. They get rid of Lawrence.
Williams.
I did mess that up earlier. Thanks for that correction about, 40 minutes late, Stoner.
I had to look it up. I was like, they traded Lawrence? I thought they traded
You're right. It was
Leonard Williams.
Leonard
but
Williams.
By that time, it was
way past. Yeah. So they traded away Williams. Washington also just can't afford to lose this game. It's at home. The season is still within grasp, even if you believe that they're going to lose all the rest of the games because they're going to be underdogs for all the rest of the games. This game right here will determine how many butts are in seats for the next home game. You lose this game against the Giants, and you might as well just open up ticket sales for the away team because you're going to get them to travel because they want to see their team win up, big against a team and have cheap tickets. So Washington can't afford to lose this one, but Washington is not a good team, gentlemen. I've said it. They're a bad team. So I don't expect this to be wholly better. I mean, the Patriots were a bad team, and that one went down to the wire as well. So I think this is going to be closer to the Arizona game. In fact, I'm going to just take that 20-16 Washington.
Okay, we got the dub. That's fine.
And we'll walk away with still questions, but we'll have that dub, and I'll be in my Washington onesie for our instant reaction and our day after reckoning.
Nice. I like it. We all three picked them. That's a guaranteed winner then.
One could hope. It's a guaranteed winner here because the comedian Robert Gandera here telling everybody hit that like button. Robert also picked Washington to win this one. And so if we can win over the Dallas fan base, we can absolutely win over people. Let's start our dollar off with, and for those new dollar prop type bets, no real money being exchanged here. It's all fun and games. So make sure you put in your boldest predictions in the chat here for the Washington Commanders home game against the New York Giants. Start off with Fedarian Mathis. How many snaps did he have last week? Stoner, I know you know this stuff because you're a hawk.
18.
Okay.
18 snaps for your second round pick.
18 and a half snaps this game against the Giants is my over-under. What you taking, Stoner?
Well, I'm going over that just because I believe the way to beat the Giants is to have that single package, is to go in with 5 down linemen. And if you have 5 down linemen, you need that extra defensive tackle. That's John Ridgeway. That's Fedarian Mathis. And I think they do it a lot during this game. So I'm going to go over 18.5 sacks. Anybody want that? Anybody want to go under? I mean, 18.5 snaps. Did I say sacks?
Yeah, I'm going to go under just because you mentioned John Ridgeway. I think John Ridgeway is having a better year than Fedarian Mathis, even though the team likes him obviously enough to draft him in the second round.
And what was Ridgeway?
He was a fifth rounder put on the practice squad for Dallas.
Yeah, that we stole from a practice squad from
our rivals. So
Dallas.
yeah, I'm going to go under. He might get 17 or 16, something short up under, but definitely under.
All right.
So the last time these two teams played, the New York Giants had 65 snaps against Washington. To put that in perspective, in the game against Seattle, Seattle had 74 snaps. I'm taking the under because I just don't think that the New York Giants offense is going to be out there very often, nor do I think that they're going to be effective enough for Fedarian Mathis to get more than 18.5 snacks. So the only one going with the over is the guy who doesn't like him with Stoner.
Yeah.
No, I said under.
You said
Trev
over.
said over.
Over what? I said under 18.
Oh, I did. I said over.
You said over.
My mistake. I got.
My man got to lay off that fire water there.
Yeah, a sipper.
All right, let's get to some of these in the chat before you guys get into any more of these. DeVito over 220 passing yards. DeVito is a little banged up too, by the way. So
perfect.
Dabble talking about him being the QB for this game, but just let you know, he might not last the whole thing.
All right, $1 for anyone who can name the backup quarterback for the Giants this week.
Oh,
I ain't
wait a
got
minute.
a clue. I have no idea who the back. I mean, I had never heard of Tommy DeVito until all of a sudden he's starting a game for the Giants.
Really?
Who's the backup? Without looking it up, you're cheating.
Yeah, I am, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
DeVito, by the way, 86 yards against Dallas last week. So I'm definitely going to go the under.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the under here. I have no clue who the backup is.
Oh, yeah,
right
Matt
now.
Barkley. That's right.
Matt Barkley.
That's why I was going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Barkley is a backup to Tommy DeVito. How bad is Matt Barkley? A guy who was like a Heisman Trophy candidate in college.
Oof. Yeah.
He's
how far he's yeah, pretty bad there. But yeah, DeVito 86 yards against the Dallas defense last week. Yeah. And he so far this year in 3 games played, 54 pass attempts, has 260 yards. I'm smashing that under.
Yeah. All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
First of all, that I guarantee right now that both of you are going to go against this bet. Guarantee.
Now I kind of want to go against it or not go against it just to break.
You're going against it. Trust me, because I'm doing a Trev type bet.
Oh boy.
The score after the first quarter will be Giants 3, Washington 0.
After the first quarter? Yeah. I'll go against
I like that.
Yeah.
I'll go against it too.
Yeah, see, it's too specific. I knew
it's a good one, but I'm going against
it's going to be 3-0 Giants at the end of the first quarter.
You might hear some explicitives from me and play-by-play if that is the score at the end there. Gregory Dalla over 150 total yards by Barkley.
Yeah, I could.
Saquon?
Yeah. Oh, Saquon or Matt?
Saquon Barkley, who last week finished with 66 in the air, 66 on the ground, -5 receiving.
Oh yeah, I'll go under. Definitely under 150 total yards.
They're gonna
the last time I think he went
Barkley go crazy.
No.
I'll have to look at this Vegas game, but it looks like the last time he went over 150 was against the Jets.
The Jets and Giants played this year? I can't even remember.
Yeah. So he did finish under 150 against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go under as well. I would put him above 90 yards
total
from scrimmage.
I'm going to go under.
Okay. Trev?
90 total yards from
89 scrimmage? And a half. So that way the 90 is so we don't get a push.
Yeah, I'll do that. He's going to get over 89.
All right.
Nathan and Trev.
Let's see if we got
I got a dollar.
Here.
Kendall Fuller gets an interception on Sunday.
I'll take the bet.
Kendall Fuller now.
Yep. Fuller.
He's been good this year.
INT. Stoner says not happening.
Yeah, I think the smart money is not happening, but I do think that they do get, how about this? They get 2 interceptions against New York Giant quarterbacks, because I can't promise that DeVito's playing the whole game.
Well, first you got to do the other one. Are you going to?
I just said no to Fuller, but I will say that Washington gets 2 interceptions.
Okay. They do not.
All right.
Nathan.
How about JG's pass interference on Benjamin St. Just trying to lock him up? Gets a little too close.
He needs to do the abbreviation for PI, whatever that is, instead of doing this.
I'm going no on that one as well.
Yo, he's definitely getting the PI, bro. Definitely.
Yeah. Let's go with Howell over 400 yards passing.
No,
that's too high. I would not be surprised if he gets another 300, but I don't think he's going to get 400.
How about, I'm going to put the number for Tommy DeVito passing yards at 154 and a half.
I'm
not touching any DeVito numbers.
I will. I got you, Stoner. He's going to go higher than that.
You're going to go higher?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go higher. Nathan, you don't want to go under that?
No, I'm not going to go under.
172.
Too unpredictable. You make it 199.5.
199.5?
Yeah.
He's under that.
No, I'm not going that high.
Yeah, there we go. So there we go. Sam Howell, you guys want to put a yardage on Sam Howell this weekend? I do think that he's going to have a good game. I think that he's not going to get sacked as many times. I think that 4 or less sacks is what we can expect from Sam Howell this week. I think over 275 yards passing. Don't know that he makes 300 yards this.
Over 275? Ooh.
Yeah, I'd go over 275.
Oh.
Trev?
That's tough. That's such a good number. I'm going to go under. I'm going to be under.
Okay.
I'm going to go under. I think we might ground and pound a little more than Stoner thinks we will.
I've been saying that for 9 freaking weeks, and they just won't do it.
I hope so. Yam doesn't believe that. Yam thinks that Sam Howell will have more rushing yards than any of our running backs, and that's just not going to be true.
That's not
none of us are biting on that one, Yam. None of us are biting on that one. How about this one, Yam saying we get 0 sacks again? I disagree. I think our man KJ Henry here finishes with his first sack.
I'll even go on to say 3.
I was going to say 4
sacks.
I think we're all pretty high on this one. Washington getting a few sacks. So how about my specific one? KJ Henry records his first NFL sack.
No.
I'm with Trev on this.
Okay.
Nathan. KJ Henry.
He should have had one against the Patriots. That was a bogus call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Big time.
JG, I've been thinking about this one all week. JG, for our audio listeners, a Cheeseman snap finally gets past Tress Way.
No, nothing gets past Tress Way.
I like that. Nothing gets past him.
I wouldn't go as far as to say one gets past him, but a Cheeseman snap will cost Washington this game, whether or not it's a field goal, an extra point, or a bad snap to Tress that they get to Tress before he can punt it away. A bad snap from Cheeseman's going to cost Washington this game. Not cost as in lose. Cost them
that's where me and Trevor are over here going. Negative points.
Whoa. It's gonna be a negative play for Washington. It's finally going to bite them for sticking with Cheeseman.
Yeah, Trevor and I were all over that bet.
I was like tossing the game. You picked us to win.
I did, but 20-16, a bad snap could be the difference maker.
Oh, for sure. They said that Tress Way should got Player of the Week for special teams again because the way he was handling those snaps last week.
Yeah, there was some that rolled to him, and there was some that he had to jump for.
Yeah,
and for the viewers,
there we go. That's the right way to put it, JG. Thanks. Cost us a score, not the game. It's gonna hit.
And listeners and viewers, fun fact about Cheeseman that we found on the internet: he is ranked DFL on special teams players in the entire league. He's even below starting linemen who play special teams. People I've never even heard of special teams. He is DFL.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And Ron Rivera moved up to pick him in the draft. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say about that.
Absolutely last. They drafted him up. They brought in 5 guys to challenge him, and they still looked at him and said, "You're our guy." And then he immediately snaps horrible again. It's awful. Joe with the fun one here. Ron unfolds his arms and claps 5 times. 5 times.
Well, I'm going to go over that.
Have to unfold his arms? Like, do we have to see that, or can we just see the clapping?
Are you going to go over that? That's a good point, too,
I mean, I was going to go over that, and then I was going to hire like a camera person to go there and videotape it, just so you see it, even though they don't show it on the broadcast.
I will take a happy Ron on the sidelines plus 5 times. Yeah, I'll take that at least 5 times. Yeah, I think this is going to be a decent game for Washington, so we'll see how that goes there. A running back gets more passing yards than running yards. Ooh.
I mean receiving yards?
Yeah, some receiving yards for...
No, that was an anomaly last week.
Yes.
Those were just broken plays. Those weren't even planned.
There's going to be a lot of blitzes, though. Running backs are your hot routes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's not going to happen.
I like this one, JG.
I do too.
I think that we will have a running back that has more receiving yards than they have rushing yards, and Antonio Gibson's probably going to be the one who does it.
I was going to say.
Oh, I kind of misread that, but I think I still take the bet.
You're going to stick with it?
I was thinking a running back would have more receiving yards than any receiver would have.
No, they'll have just a running back that has more receiving yards than their own rushing yards.
Yeah.
Or any other running back.
Yeah, and actually, I don't want to take that.
Oh, come on. We almost got Stoner on that one. I do like that one. I do think I think this is a game, like I said, we know Martindale is going to blitz, right? Sam Howell's been doing a better job picking up the blitz these last few games. If he continues that trend and he hits those hot routes, that's going to be one of his running backs. So our running back should be tallying up. In fact, I will go as far as to say at least one running back will finish with at least 8 carries. Eight receptions is what I'm saying, or 8 targets. We'll say 8 targets.
A running back will
have at least 8 targets.
Yeah. I'm taking that one. That's
Me too.
That might be one of the worst. That's worse than my score prediction of 3-0 after the first quarter. 8 targets for a running back?
8 targets for a running back.
That's crazy talk.
Okay.
All right.
Trev, where you stand?
I'm taking it too. That's crazy talk.
Oh, you make me feel so much better, Trev, about this one now that you went with Stoner on it. I love it. I love it.
I got you.
So let's move on here. B-Rob, Adam getting B-Rob 2 tutties for Brian Robinson.
2 rushing tutties?
2 rushing tutties. You thanks for correcting me, because I just saw 2 tutties and I was like, I kind of like that. I like it enough that he's definitely starting for me in fantasy this week.
Hey.
But 2 rushing specifically, ooh, I don't see it.
Yes, I'll be with you. Who was that? Adam.
Adam was the one who had 2 rushing touchdowns. So I'm
Yeah, I
saying
got
no.
you, Adam.
Trev saying yes. Stoner.
No.
Yeah.
Stoner shaking his head. That's
No.
means
Yeah,
he's
man.
this way.
Sam will throw 2, and we'll score 2 on the ground.
Well, let's move on to something we haven't done well here in this last week, and that is pick our survivor. As we fell last week.
We fell and won.
And our one, Cincinnati let us down against Houston. Apparently, there's this kid out there in Houston called CJ Stroud, and I guess he's him.
Right.
He upended our Cincinnati pick. Thankfully, much to the chagrin of Ted from DMV Mess Hall, we did pick Dallas. So we might take that 30 pounds of silver or 30 pieces of silver there, Ted, but we are still alive, at least in that one. Who are we going to take this week?
All right.
We've already taken Washington, right? So we can't pick Washington.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We took them in both leagues in the very first week.
This is tough.
In that one week that that one league that we lost, there are only 6 left in that league. We could have still been with only 6 teams. There was actually 4 teams that took Cincinnati, so there would have been 10 left, but still. So we're out of that one. Too bad. Let's go to the other league where we are still alive. That's pretty awesome. And this is the JP Finley League, where there are only 29 left in that league. Still surviving. We're one of those that 8 people get knocked out by the Bengals, 5 by the Bills, and 2 by the Patriots last week.
Ooh.
So knocked out 15.
How desperate do you have to be to pick
teams.
the Patriots? So in Indianapolis, in Europe. Oof.
All right, so let's look at what we have available for this particular week number 11.
It's going to be tough.
Dolphins over Raiders. That's a big split there.
Lions over Bears.
If we have the Dolphins available, I think that's. Do we have the 49ers over the Buccaneers?
49ers are not available.
Mm-hmm.
Here's who we have available. We have the Ravens still available over the Bengals.
No.
Ravens at home, though.
No.
We have the Steelers available over the Panthers.
Browns.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. You're right.
Steelers are on
Panthers
bye.
available if we want. Steelers play the Browns, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we've already used the Browns. We've already used the Lions. We've got Texans over the Cardinals. Texans.
I don't know. Kyler Murray's back.
That's too risky until we see more of Kyler. There we go.
All right. Can't use the Dolphins. Already used them. Can't use the Commanders. Already used them. Jaguars over the Titans. 75.6% win probability for Jacksonville over Will Levis, who has looked really bad the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It is a home game for Jacksonville, but Jacksonville got waxed by the 49ers.
At home.
I'll take that one though. I don't mind
have
that
the Rams
pick
over the Seahawks. That's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
Or we can do the Broncos over the Vikings.
Nope.
That's it, fellas. I say we go Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, I say we go Jacksonville too.
There's 75.6 win probability. My whole thing has always been you look for a home team against a bad quarterback. So you've got a home team in Jacksonville against Will Levis at quarterback for Tennessee. I think it's a solid pick. Of course, we went with that with Cincinnati last week with the home team. But we thought CJ Stroud wasn't great, but turns out.
Well, I didn't think that I didn't say it wasn't great. I just didn't think that they were going to win. I thought Houston's not a good enough team, but they're proven that you play to win the game. That's what we talked about early on, is that playoffs are tanked, and we're all in agreement. You got to play to win the games. Washington will go up against the Giants this Sunday. You can tune into our play-by-play and commentary where we have a lot of fun there. In fact, PNW Trout was so happy to find us because this channel was suggested to PNW Trout just not too long ago. And if you're like,
who suggested it?
I think it was a YouTube suggestion, is what I think. And if you're like PNW that you kind of found us and we had one earlier as well, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you sub up here on YouTube, as that helps other people find the channel as well. Of course, you can listen to us on your favorite audio platform as well. We're on TV as well with the Believe Network and a couple different options there, and soon to be coming to you on Sports Illustrated, part of the Believe Network benefits as well. Once we have more on that, we'll let you know how you can catch us there. We have a daily Commanders update for you Thursday and Friday. On Saturday, Stoner, big New York guest coming to town.
Ooh, big New York Jets. Big New York guest coming up to preview the Giants game. He's a Spartan. He's a great New York Giant as well. His name is Carl Banks. And Carl Banks will be joining us for our game preview for the New York Giants, which I think is pretty awesome.
That will be a great time. You can take it to the bank and join us again on Sunday for the play-by-play and commentary, and then the instant reaction right afterwards, where we believe our Washington Commanders will pull out the victory. So do 70% of the votes. If you haven't already answered that vote, make sure you get in there, because we'll bring that up there on the play-by-play. And gentlemen, the only thing I have left to say is we're presented by Bet Online. And until next time,
beat the
Giants.
Be a fan.